Bible studies inside the White House? Who's behind this spiritual awakening? Bible News Radio starts right now.
So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word of my mouth, and warn them from me.
Have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather expose them.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Middle Tennessee and examining current events from a biblical perspective, this is Bible News Radio with your hosts, Randall and Stacy Harper.
All right. Hey, everybody.
I'm not getting that music at all.
You're not?
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
In your headset? No?
My headset, yeah, but not on our broadcast.
Can you guys hear the music? You can't be a watchman. I'm asleep at 9 p.m. I'm old. You're gearing it? So Jason hears it. Yes, you can hear it? Okay, good. All right. Well, we'll play this for a few minutes.
It doesn't show up on the meter.
That's weird. Everybody's hearing it. Dance with your wife. It's Friday, people.
And it's only one channel.
Every night. You know what? You're hearing it too? Oh, awesome. Randall's totally distracted here, people. You should see what he's doing right now. So, it's Free for All Friday. Thank you guys for coming in. Coach Dave, Jason. And let's see, who else do we got here? We have Shelby. Hi, Shelby. And Howie. And Melanie. And Mia. And Mama Gina. Ibrahim. I hope I said that right. Steven. I see you, Steven. Gerhard. Ghoul. Is that how you say it? G, whatever L is. Steven, hi. Okay, and now I can't hear it at all. Because Randall's messing with the thing. Everybody else can hear it.
But it's only one channel, though.
Oh, it's only one channel. Well, anyway. Don't worry about it. So, you can go ahead and put the light back on my face where it belongs.
I'd rather just put it in your direction. I don't want to put it on your face.
Yeah.
That might get a little warm.
Yeah, it would. How's your guys' week been? I got a whole bunch of stuff.
Guys.
I'm gonna. Well, it keeps getting softer because we turned it down. Oh, that's it. That's okay. It was just opening stuff anyway. You're getting tired of being wonderful? Turn up the music. I could sing this right. After we say I do. What an honor to have you here. Thank you for coming in. I gotta look over there, though. I don't have somebody going, look at the camera. Hi, Ricky Lee. All right. All right. Okay. All right. You know, what's really funny to me is that people tell us that this is one of the best produced shows on Periscope. And then I go, I don't really feel that way at times, but I do have to give all the credit to Randall Bareface, because I don't have anything to do with it.
Because I'm so awesome.
He is awesome.
Best produced shows as the microphone falls into my lap.
Well,
so you jinxed it. You had to say something.
I didn't jinx it. I'm not a jinx. Boy. Well, thank you. You know what? Hey, you know what? What's today? The 4th? August.
February. No, 4th.
In 11 days, you guys. 11 days. Randall and me will be married 25 years. Is that cool or what? You know what? I don't think I've been more excited about an anniversary than I have this one. And the reason why is because my mom wasn't married long. 3 times she was married. And my father's been married 4 times. And my dad, actually, I have to say, his second? No, I think it was his 3rd wife. He was married to for 20 years, and then she actually died. So, I mean, at least he was married 20 years. But honestly, like, from both my parents, we broke the curse, people. You know? I mean, seriously, it's my only marriage, thank God.
A quarter century is a long time.
Yeah, and we've known each other like 2 years longer than that. So we've known each other 27 years.
Yeah.
And you've known me half my life.
More than half your life.
More than half my life.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, it's really funny, Randall. You don't even know this. Okay, so before the show
And
starts.
I've known you, I guess, about half my life.
Because you're
But
old.
more. Just a little more than half my life, actually, now.
So right before the show, Randall's like, he always does this. He always says, quiet on the set. You want to remarry your wife on your 25th? See, I think that would be great. You know, we actually renewed our vows on our 20th on our show. We actually had Eric Barger, who is the head of Take a Stand Ministries. He officiated our wedding vow renewal. It was just we did it online. We actually didn't do it on video because Periscope wasn't around, but we did it on our podcast. So we actually have that. You're too weird. Okay, hey, that's cool. You know what? You know what really gets me is starter marriages. There's this terminology they call it starter marriages, which is 5 years and under, right? But what was I going to say? I was saying something else. Oh yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so before the show, Randall always likes to say quiet on the set, and I'm like, in my mind, this is a true story. In my mind, I'm like, there is no set. Bareface, there is no set. And then I thought that, true story, and Randall's like, this is a set. True story. He said it out loud, and I didn't even say anything. It was like he read my mind. He does that all the time. I'm just like, I can't even imagine 40 years, because I'd be like, I can't even think a thought without Randall knowing what it is. But I guess you get to know. I guess you get to know somebody. You know. Yeah. I guess you get to know somebody.
Melanie, we've been married over 9,100 days.
Oh, and it only feels like 8,100 days.
I know.
Just kidding. Yeah, that's right. The two become one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are in more ways than you think. He read your mind. He reads it all the time.
News to me.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's reading it most of the time, but
well, we talk about the thingy, and whether it's up there on the hill or whatever. What hill? North or south of here? Well, that way, over by the thing, by the hill. I'm like, geographically, most of the time I have no idea what she's talking about.
I am geographically challenged.
Yeah.
I'm actually challenged in many ways.
I'm like the
Randall.
east side of the street or the west side of the street? On the left. Well, which way are you facing? Are you left when you're traveling north or left when you're traveling south?
And I'm like, I don't know north and I don't know south, so just tell me right or left. And then I know.
Depends on which way you're facing.
Hey, Angie, thanks for coming in. Angie just left. Bye, Angie.
Something I said?
No, I think it's and there she's back. Sometimes Periscope backs up. Okay, so us two are unbelievably sweet. Can you believe it? Yeah. Well, if you only really knew me. Now, if you have to say just kidding after you say something, you probably shouldn't have said it.
That's a pretty good piece of advice right there.
Yeah.
That's
oh yeah, I've been given advice recently by a family member. Recently gave me some advice.
Not all free advice is good.
Yeah. Hey, well, anyway, here's what I want to do. I want to share with you guys some upcoming stuff that we're going to be covering on the show. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this.
Cut to Stacy.
And I also want to, let's see here. I want to I want to share. Well, I think, yeah, I'm going to do Morgan's thing first. Okay. You guys know I had Jamie Grace on our show like earlier this year. We had Vicky Fitch interview her. And Jamie has a sister named Morgan Harper Nichols. And Morgan is, she's amazing. I love her. Her song Storyteller, we played it at the end of yesterday's show. And what she's doing this month in August is she's actually doing what she's calling 30 days of storytelling. And she's asking people to use the hashtag 30 days of storytelling. Is that right? Wait, hold on. See, now I don't know. I have to.
30-day storyteller or something.
30 days storyteller. I'm not sure. Wait, hold on. Wait, before I misquote myself. Okay, no, that's not right. It's 30 days of story letters, right? Because she has this thing. It's a GoFundMe. No, it's a Patreon project where she actually writes up her own poetry. She paints up these things here, right? She paints this up, and then she writes her poetry, and then she'll send it to you in the mail. And so I subscribe to it. I'm one of her Patreons. And this is her way of getting everybody to write stories, right? So some of you who are following me on my social media, you've probably seen the last 4 days that I've been writing some stuff up. And I really just want to let you guys know about this because it's good. Like, I want to read you my 4 entries. Now, I'm going to read you on my microphone. Hey, stop it. Stop falling. I want to read you my entry from yesterday. Listen to this. You'll love this. Okay, this is the dramatic reading of me, Stacy Lynn Harp. All right, here it is. I was on my couch observing you, and I was wishing secretly that you would die. Then I got up and left for a while, and when I didn't see you, I wondered why. Then I spied my coffee cup, and when I looked inside, I observed you at the top of the coffee left inside. I'm so thankful I didn't take a drink without looking, because there you were, dead inside. Dead fly. Dead fly. And I drew a picture of a fly because I looked on the internet on how to draw a fly. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that worth your time just now? Yeah. Okay. All right. The object of what Morgan wants you to do is she wants you to write a letter to someone or something. So today I wrote this one. And all of a sudden there's no comments or hearts. I'm wondering if you guys are mesmerized by my talent. Okay. This one I wrote.
Perhaps they're on a journey.
Okay, this one I wrote. This one's to the hospital bed in the cancer ward. Words cannot convey what I'd like to say to you for all the comfort and rest you gave my mom in her last days. You were there as she laid watching cartoons and as she left this earth for heaven. Your pillow, sheets, and support often go unlooked. But I want you to know I saw you and thank you for being that soft and comforting place of final rest. Well done. Stacy Lynn Harp. Wasn't that deep and emotional? It was, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you guys are interested in becoming, part of this challenge, then I would encourage you can go over to my Instagram page, Bible News Radio on Instagram. And on Instagram, you can actually see the hashtag that I used, and I tagged Morgan in it. So what you need to do is go follow Morgan, and then you guys can start writing some letters to inanimate objects like me. I mean,
or people, right?
Or people, yeah. So
people or places or things.
You could do any of that. So I'm gonna kick myself out here. Because I'm pretty sure you guys are making comments, and they're not. It's not coming up for some reason. I'm not sure.
I'm seeing plenty of hearts and an occasional comment.
Okay, cool. Yeah, on Instagram, it's Bible News Radio. Yeah. So what did you think? Why don't you become a part of the 30-day story letter thingy? I think you should say, hey, GABED 58, welcome to the Periscope. It's your first day, and you came into Bible News Radio. You're so smart.
Huh, I didn't. I saw the GABDA whatever 58 join, but I didn't see the first day of Periscope notification.
You didn't?
No.
You're going to follow me on Instagram? Yeah, please do. Oh, and by the way, also, don't forget, you can follow us on our email list, which is really where you should be, actually. So go over to my website, BibleNewsRadio.com, and follow us there on our email list, and then you get email from me. I know. It's just too much to handle, I'm sure, but anyway. There's one other thing I was going to say. Let's see here. All right, let's see. So I wrote about a fly. I wrote about a cancer. Oh, this is the one. I'm going to read this one. This was the one I wrote the second day, August 2nd. This one, actually, a lot of people responded to. Listen to this. To the man singing at assisted living. You guys know that that my dad is in assisted living. You may come to sing and play because you love music, but seeing you greet each resident afterwards and hearing your kind words to them melted my heart. The joy that your voice and gentle touch of your hand, as you touch gently the hands of the elderly, will carry them through until you come again. Your ministry is life, and for some of those who are lonely, your presence helped them breathe one more day. Sing on, soldier. So, yeah, actually a lot of people like that one. Because, anyway, the whole point of this is to write, and to do that. Hey, Robin in Sweden. That is so cool. You're in Sweden? Wow. We're in Tennessee. We're in Tennessee. We're in Spring Hill, Tennessee. We're Hicks now, just so you know. If you don't know what a Hick is, it's somebody who lives in Tennessee, and usually Texas and places like that. In the South of the United States of America. I have to emphasize United States of America, just so you know. All right, so coming up on our show, I've been booking guests like crazy. I think I have like 13, 14 people booked in for the next 2 months. We are going to have Dr. Eric Schneckel on our show, Everyone Everywhere, Glimpses of God's Global Work Through People Like You. He is the executive director of the Jesus Film Project. You're in Arkansas. Oh, cool. That's where Twyla Paris lives. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is the book we're going to talk about next month. Check that out, huh? You guys are going to love that. All right, and then I also have this book here. It's called Love is Oxygen, How God Can Give You Life and Change Your World by Jared Wilson. This is actually published. Like oxygen. This is published by Tyndale House Publishers, and he is scheduled for next month. I believe it's next month. Anyway, he is booked. This guy is booked. Going to be a fun interview with this guy, talking about love. One of my favorite authors and Bible prophecy teachers, Dr. Mark Hitchcock, who's also an attorney, by the way. Dr. Mark Hitchcock, he wrote this book called Russia Rising, Tracking the Bear in Bible Prophecy. Mark Hitchcock is going to be our guest coming up in the next couple of weeks, too. I don't know how many of you actually know who Mark is, but he's awesome. He's been on our show a number of times. Recurring guest. I love recurring guests. Russia Rising Bible Prophecy book. You're going to love it. Also, I'm going to have Jeff Kinley on our show. He's also another Bible prophecy expert. He wrote a brand new book about the end of America or something. I actually don't have the book because it hasn't come yet. But Jeff Kinley will be our guest at the end of this month. And he has been a guest recently on Skywatch TV as well as Bible Prophecy Watchers with Gary Stearman. We're also going to have on Steve Weens. I know his name is spelled funny, but they actually put it in the show notes that this is how it is. He wrote this book called Whole, and it's restoring what is broken in me, you, and the entire world. So we're going to be talking to him soon. He's actually the founding pastor of Genesis Covenant Church in Minnesota. So you may know somebody in Minnesota. We're going to be talking to him soon in the future. Another guest I'm super excited about having on, and some of you who are in the scrapbooking, the DIY movement, etc., you're going to love this. Carrie Ann Wood is going to be our guest. She wrote a book called So Close to Amazing, Stories of a DIY Life Gone Wrong and learning to find the beauty in every imperfection. This is my favorite book so far. That I got that just today. Hey, and there's Tawanda. She came in. Nice to see you, girl. You guys gotta follow her. She actually is a paper planner graphic person thingy. Am I following you? I thought I followed you. Okay, I'm gonna follow you here. I must be following you on a different one. All right. Anyway, so this one, you guys gonna love this one. And this book here, The Wellness Revelation, is actually by Alyssa Keaton. And she's the founder of Revelation Wellness. How many of you are trying to get well, right? Yeah, okay, we're all trying to get well. So this is called Lose What Weighs You Down So You Can Love God, Yourself, and Others. Right now, we're trying to get her booked. She doesn't do books. She's committed in the evening to her family, but I explained to her booker that I'm also committed in the afternoon to my family. So hopefully she'll be able to come on the show. This is called The Wellness Revelation. Again, most of these books I just shared with you are from Tyndale House Publishers, which is a really great publisher. So those are just some of our books and some of our guests we're going to be having in the next couple of weeks and through September. I think I've got, like I said, 13 or 14 people booked.
Yeah, it seems like you're returning to your roots in a way of interviewing authors and talking about their books. Which is kind of, well, I mean, that's the way the podcast started so many years ago.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, and also we're going to have Pastor Pete, we're going to have Pastor Tommy, we're going to have Rick, Costa. We're having Laura Royer. You guys know Laura here on Periscope. She's coming on the 30th of this month. And there's a couple other reviews I want to ask come on the show. So don't be surprised if I ask you to come on. You don't have to. Actually, I have asked some others on Periscope. And they've turned me down. I should be heartbroken. Okay, it's over.
Or insulted.
No, I'm not insulted.
How about outraged?
Yeah. Well, no, the funny thing is I am often humored when people I don't get turned down very often, actually. I mean, I have so many people wanting to come on that it's no big deal if somebody turns me down. I'm like, whatever, okay, yeah, I'll just open up that spot, yeah, to somebody else. Well, I know in some cases they're not ready, or whatever. There can be a lot of different reasons why, but anyway. So, what did you name our show? I don't even know the name of the show. You should tell me.
It's just simply Free for All Friday with some hashtags.
Okay. Well, you wish your
I was going to hashtag it. Hashtags would be good, but
really?
I don't think anybody would be searching on those hashtags. So,
did you guys know that there's Bible studies at the White House?
That's the teaser.
True story. Over on the CBN News Network, there's an article titled Bible Studies at the White House. Who's inside the spiritual awakening? Yeah, really. True story. I want you to hear this. A spiritual awakening is underway at the White House. Some of the most powerful people in America have been gathering weekly to learn more about God's Word, and this Trump cabinet Bible study is making history. They've been called the most evangelical cabinet in history. Men and women who don't mince words when it comes to where they stand on God and the Bible. It's not fake news, by the way. It's actually true. Ralph Drollinger of Capital Ministries told CBN News, "These are godly individuals that God has risen to a position of prominence in our culture. They are all handpicked by President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence. I don't think Donald Trump has figured out that he chained himself to the Apostle Paul." Drollinger laughed. I'm not really sure what that means. I think he might be referring to Mike Pence being that person, but I'm not really sure about that. Anyway, Drollinger is a former NBA playing giant of a man with an even bigger calling. He founded Capital Ministries with the idea that if you change the heart of lawmakers, then their Christian worldview will guide them to make good policies, which is exactly what I keep telling people. He started Bible studies in 40 state capitals, a number of foreign capitals, teaches weekly studies in the U.S. House and Senate, and now leads about a dozen members of President Trump's cabinet in weekly studies of the scriptures. Health Secretary Tom Price, Energy Secretary Rick Perry. You might recall he used to be the governor of Texas. Education Secretary Betsy DeVos, who actually was like, the left hated it when she became that.
A bit of a lightning rod.
Agricultural Secretary Sonny Perdue and CIA Director Mike Pompeo are just a few of the regulars. Just so you know, also, Dr. Ben Carson, who's been a guest on this show twice, he's in it, and so is Mike Pence, the VP. You might want to know that, just in case. Anyway, it said it's the best Bible study that I've ever taught in my life. They are so teachable. They're so noble. They're so learned. Or is it learned? We don't know. It's groundbreaking, since he doesn't think a formal Bible study among executive cabinet members has been done in the last 100 years. America's top cop attorney general Jeff Sessions also attends the study. He'll go out the same day I teach him something, and I'll see him do it on camera, and I just think, wow, these guys are faithful, available, and teachable, and they're at a Bible study every week they're in town. President Trump is invited to attend the Bible studies too. Each week he receives a copy of Drollinger's teaching, and Vice President Pence is also planning to join the study as his schedule permits. He also serves as a sponsor, just so you know. In Pence, Drollinger sees many similarities to biblical figures like Joseph, Mordecai, and Daniel, all men who rose to the number 2 position in governments at different times in history. Mike Pence has respect for the office. He dresses right. Like it says, Joseph cleaned himself up before he went to stand before the Pharaoh. Mike Pence has uncompromising biblical tenacity, and he has a loving tone about him that's not just a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. You know where that comes from, right? In 1 Corinthians 13. And then fourthly, he brings real value to the head of the nation. Like others, Drollinger often compares President Trump to biblical strong man Samson. I just praise God for them, he said, and I praise God for Mike Pence, who I think with Donald Trump chose great people to lead our nation. I should also say I'm also honored that Dr. Charmaine Yost is also working for the president. And if you don't know who she is, she used to be I think the executive director of Americans United for Life. And she and I met a number of years ago. Her mom is Dr. Janice Krause, who actually served in high-level positions at Concerned Women for America, and also has been a guest on our show numerous times. These are very, very godly people. And so for whatever baggage Donald Trump might have, and don't we all have it, just saying, you know what? He has chosen some good people to surround himself with. And we need to keep praying for him. Yeah. You know what I mean?
People may argue whether or not Trump is actually a Christian believer. I don't know. I've never met the man. My jury's still out on, his whatever he contributes. But one thing I do see contributing is just a different culture. And kind of like here in the southeast United States, where there is a cultural Christianity. I mean, many people may be just, Sunday Christians, but still that history, that culture of Christianity does provide a framework that provides a true freedom of religion. And so talking about spiritual things, it's favorable for the gospel of Christ, even though it may not really be, I don't want to say permeate or entrenched, but, it may really not be, may not be more than skin deep within, politics. In many cases, it still provides a sort of spiritual freedom, for lack of a better word, a luxury under which the true gospel can go forth, and for that I'm thankful.
Yeah, well, and not only that, but what's interesting is somebody said this is fake news, that there's Bible studies in the White House. Let me give you a little history lesson from me. Once upon a time, there was history, by Stacy Lynn Harp.
In time.
In time.
In a land.
In a land. We're weird.
One
I admit
man.
it. One woman.
One woman.
I am a woman.
She is a woman.
With hair.
With hair.
That's naturally curly.
It's naturally curly.
By the way, I can't stand my hair this way, you guys. Just kidding, okay? Look, I'm just saying. This is like... Anyway, it was probably, what was this, 2017? I don't know, 10 years ago? It may be longer, I can't remember. Anyway, I was invited by Sally Kern, who is a representative in the state of Oklahoma, to go to David Barton's pro-life legislators conference. Okay, David Barton is the head of Wall Builders. That's this ministry in Texas. I don't know how many of you know about this ministry. Thank you, Melanie. And by the way, hi, Sandy. I see you in there. I see you just came in. Anyway, so I went to, so on Sally's invite, I was invited to go be part of this pro-family legislators conference in Texas. So I flew over to Texas and met David Barton, and I met all of these pro-family legislators, aka Christian legislators, who got involved locally in their politics and ended up becoming part of their state legislators, right? Most of them, and frankly, most of them actually got involved because of the gay agenda and or the threat to our national security because of Islam and other things, right? Well, when I was at this meeting, I was told I was like the only person that was part of the media. And really, back then, the media wasn't even as much as it is today. I have more influence now than I did 10 years ago. But here's one thing I learned at that meeting. That was, and this was during, this was, okay, it had to be within the last years because I think Obama was still president. Actually, he was, come to think of it. It was during the last 8 years. Because in the White House under Obama, Muslims were allowed to pray 5 times a day. The Muslims that were in the cabinet, they set aside a part where they could do that, right? And that wasn't common knowledge to most people. Most people didn't know that. And also, or if Christians want to do a Bible study, they could do it. So this isn't anything new. I mean, America was founded upon biblical principles by Puritans, right? Yeah. In fact, what's interesting is Christopher Columbus, most people don't even realize this, but he was a Messianic Jewish believer, in case you didn't know that. Anyway, so my point is that yes, there is Bible studies in the White House, just like there's Christian prayer in the White House, but there was also Islamic prayer in the White House in our previous administration that didn't get much airplay for obvious reasons. So with that said, though, there's also people who aren't happy about this. Over on the Washington Free Beacon website, freebeacon.com, there is an article titled "Atheists Unhappy with White House Bible Study." Now listen to this. Atheist groups are unhappy with President Donald Trump for allowing a weekly Bible study to take place in the White House. The Freedom from Religion Foundation said the Bible study might even be an illegal use of taxpayer funds. The Washington Times reported Thursday.
And where were they when with the Muslim prayer room being established? Not that there's anything wrong with that,
I don't
but
know.
I mean,
And where were they when Hillary Clinton was like politicking in church?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean that, but okay. But it says here, if those officials want privacy, the solution is pretty damn simple. Just saying, people. They use the word "damn" in this article. Study the Bible in your private capacity, not in your official capacity and at your government desk, the group said in a statement Thursday. Do it on your own time, not the taxpayers. In short, get off your knees and get to work. Okay, now I'm bringing this up for a reason because you got to understand this. There is a very subtle move, right? Okay, listen to me. There is a very subtle move in the world, right? Especially from the seculars, the atheists, complainers, etc., to make Christianity private. Okay? What they want to do is they don't want you to exercise your religion in public. And this goes back, think about it. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, okay? And one of the famous sayings I grew up under was, you know what? Shouldn't talk about religion or politics. Those are the two most divisive subject on the planet, right? How many of you heard that saying before? My cat's bugging me, right? So the thing is, well, don't talk about religion and politics. They're too divisive. We can't talk about that. That might just actually just change the culture and stuff, right? But see, that's the thing. And I grew up with a mom who was very hostile to the gospel, and also who had a Catholic Episcopalian type background, where she didn't obey any of that. But the thing is, well, I can go to church to pray, right, Coach Dave? Yeah, I can go to church to pray. That's where I pray. I pray at church. Because that building, that's where God shows up. See, the atheist complainers, to use my friend Gordon Klingenschmidt's terminology, he refers to the atheists as complainers, because I have never actually met, number one, a happy atheist, or a thankful atheist for that matter. Even the atheists, have you guys noticed here, and I know some of them come into our show, and I'm totally honored that you would come in here and torture yourself listening to me in bareface, but even the atheists here on Periscope, they look like they eat lemons every day. It's like, I hate God. I'm a former youth pastor turned atheist. And you know what? All of you Christians are sucky. And not only that, you got to prove to me a miracle that actually existed, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like going, really? Do you not have anything better to do with your time than gripe about something you don't believe in? I mean, seriously. It's like, find something you believe in and then promote it. It's so stupid. You know? Yeah, I know, right? It drives me crazy, because I'm like, I would love to meet just one happy, joyful atheist. If, is it working for you? It really, Dr. Phil would say, is it working for you? Is your miserable atheistic life working for you? Yeah. Anyway, this article goes on to talk about basically how they're complaining about it, blah, 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 blah. So, see, they're mad. See, the left and the atheists are mad that God is, like, actually welcome in the White House now, okay? And they're also pissed off, and I'm sorry to use that such harsh language. I actually don't like to use that language, but it's true. They really are. Because you know why? As I should say, Pastor Pete says, can I put a quarter in the meter here? Or Larissa, can I lean in? Let me tell you, they're also really ticked off because the LGBT community isn't getting all the special rights and all the stuff that they want now, right? I mean, they're not getting, like, Gay Pride Month, like, from the White House anymore. And did the world end? Just saying, people. Did the world actually end because LGBT Pride Month didn't happen? Nope. It didn't, actually. Can you believe that? And the left makes things crazy. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like all or nothing. It's like they have borderline personality disorder, which is all or nothing, right? Yeah. LGBT Pride Month happened in other countries, but it wasn't notarized by our government this year, by Trump. Trump didn't sign a proclamation for it. I always wondered why a preference gives you extra rights. How does that work? Yeah, well, Dave, you're logical. You think right, so you understand that it's a choice. Maybe not the actual feelings, but acting on any type of behavior is a choice. DC, yeah, well, okay, it's still, I mean, the gay lobby is powerful. They're everywhere. Just so you know, they're behind you right now. They're mad at you because they hate you, unless you're gay or bisexual or transgender and confused. Bottom line, which is why I don't like watch
participate
TV.
Or celebrate.
I don't. It's just like a waste of time. So, your thoughts on gay Christians? What is your first name, Marizo? Do you have a first name? Let me go ahead here. Adam. Adam is your name. Hello, Adam. All right, that's a good question. Here's what my thought is on, quote, gay Christians. Adam is your name? Okay, hi, Adam. I'm Stacy Lynn Harp, your sweet and lovable host here of Bible News Radio.
You probably could have guessed that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize the banner was there. His banner under me is labeled me as sweet and lovable. Anyway, so here's my thoughts on the whole gay Christian thing. I think if somebody is gay and a Christian, I think that they're self-identifying by their sinful, how do I say this? I don't think you should be labeling yourself gay. Okay? Because I think homosexuality is a sin. The behavior of homosexuality is a sin. And I don't think you should be identifying yourself by a sin choice. Right? If you're a Christian, I think you should identify yourself as a follower or a disciple of Jesus, and you should identify yourself as a follower of him, not an advocate of a movement that you belong to. And I don't think that is healthy, and it really tells you where your loyalties ultimately lie, because you're identifying with the LGBT community first before Christ, and I don't think that is a good thing. Now there is a lot of discussion about this, and let me just say this: it's basically all emotive, right? Every single argument you generally hear from the LGBT lobby, and in particular, quote, gay Christians, always falls down on the side of emotion. It's all emotive arguments. And I want you to listen to this, okay? Because I'm teaching you something, okay? And I've studied this. I'm an expert on this agenda. I've done this for 12, 13 years, okay? All the science backs up biblical Christianity, okay? We know that. Number one, Adam and Eve were created. All throughout the Bible, we see marriage defined as man and woman, man and woman, man and woman, right? Even Christ in the church is represented by man and woman, okay? There's no book about homosexual sex anywhere in the Bible, but there is the Song of Solomon, which is totally about heterosexual sex between married people, all right? And anything that deviates from God's sexual norm is condemned in Scripture, whether it's fornication, adultery, promiscuity, all of that's condemned. Homosexuality is actually very clearly condemned in Leviticus and in Romans. Hey, Jeff. So the Bible is very, very clear. All the arguments you hear from the LGBT lobby and the gay Christians who advocate it are all emotive. Well, hey, you know what? This is, what do you mean I can't be gay and a Christian? Well, you hate me? The church doesn't hate me? Blah, blah. And it's like, well, you got to understand what the Bible says. If Jesus is your Lord and King, you got to obey him and him alone, right? Your feelings aren't your master, and that's for anybody. All right. So if you have, let's say I actually heard Dr. Ken Hutcherson say this a long time ago. He's now with the Lord. He died of cancer a couple years ago, but I had the honor of meeting him. He was such a man of God. He had a career as a football player. He was extremely racist and hated white people. Okay, he was a black man. He hated white people. And then he became a Christian, and you know what the Lord did to him? Made him fall in love with a white woman. True story. Hey, John. Nice to see you, buddy. So Dr. Ken Hutcherson actually made the comment, look, I was designed as a man to fit with every woman out there. Okay? Just saying. But that doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right that I was designed to go with every woman. I was designed to fit every man. Just so you know, people, I'm a woman. Every man could fit into me. Just so you know. Doesn't make it right for me to be emotive in that regard. And that's where self-control, the Holy Spirit comes in your life, and clear thinking. Like, where are you going to obey? Who are you going to obey? Are you going to obey God, or are you going to obey man? Right? It's all about, I'm going to block that bozo. It's all about, where your true worship lies. Your feelings can't control anything. They're feelings. They go in and out, and they're not based in reality so much of the time. And so the emotive argument it's just bad. Look at science. Look at biology. It all lays on the side of heterosexuality and normality, right? And what's happened is the enemy, who is like, God didn't make you gay. Adam. You might think he made you gay, but he didn't. He didn't make you gay. He didn't make you gay. And you got to stop blaming God for that, because God didn't have anything to do with it. You know how I know that? Because the Bible says in Psalm 139 that God fearfully and wonderfully made you. He knit you in your mother's womb. Okay? So God doesn't make people gay. Circumstances influence that behavior and those feelings. And it's a choice. And the research backs it up. And the gay lobby admits that it's backed up. But the media is run by liars and Satan, by and large. And people who follow the devil, to put it bluntly. And they won't tell you the truth. I lay out the truth here all the time. And people whap me upside the head about it. And I'm like, you can keep hitting me all you want. I'm not going to tell you that homosexuality is good for you. It's not.
Again, I think it's important here to emphasize that we're talking about a behavior, not a feeling. You may want to punch somebody in the face. You may want to, kill somebody. You may want to whatever. But if you don't do that, that's a good thing. And Hebrews chapter 4 tells us, speaking of Jesus, of Yeshua, speaking of him as a high priest, it tells us that we have a high priest who can sympathize with our weaknesses. He was tempted in every way we are, yet without sin. So temptation itself is not sinful. You can be tempted without sinning. You can have same-sex attraction, and that doesn't make you anything but human with same-sex attraction. We're talking about what you do with those ideas, what you do with those thoughts, what you do with those feelings. The practice of homosexuality, just like the practice of adultery, the practice of fornication, the practice of, promiscuity, bestiality, whatever.
Wait. Okay, so now Adam's saying, love thy neighbor, leave the judgment to God. See, that's all emotive right there, Adam. That's a very emotive response, because what you're saying is that love would be accepting of homosexuality. And that's not true. Real love doesn't accept homosexuality. Real love will tell you that God can change you. You made a comment earlier where you were saying that if you could change yourself, you'd do it in a heartbeat. Okay, number one, that tells me something right there. You know that it's wrong by nature. Okay? Because you want to change. You just admitted it. But see, God doesn't tell us to change. He actually, believe it or not, tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Who does that who does the transformation? God does. God does it. Do you actually think that you're the one that made yourself grow up to be a man? Like from baby, when you were in diapers to now. Did you actually do that? Because you didn't, just so you know. The process of time and the way God created all humans to happen, that's how it happens. You had nothing to do with it. You can't transform yourself. You can't, but you can take authority, and you can take authority and power over that. So, my guess is, and I'm just going to say this and let Bareface say something afterwards. My guess is that you've been emotionally injured at some point in your development by somebody. Okay? That's the truth. And I would say that it's been very difficult for you to deal with it because it doesn't happen the way that you want it. I would also guess that you didn't have a strong father, or you had a real strong attachment to your mom. And if none of that is true, then you've been heavily influenced by the media, because generally that's the case. And that's the truth. King Pipe 77, you said you thought it was cool that we could do FaceTime on here now. Actually, we're not using FaceTime. We're using Wirecast and Zoom, which is not cheap, just so you know. The software itself was $600 to buy, and Zoom I pay $150 a year for it. So it's actually a little bit more than, a typical thingy that we do. But anyway, yeah, or it could be peer pressure too. That's right. So, yeah. Anyway, so thank you though for knowing that. Okay.
Yeah, and just to be parenthetical to answer that, you could do the same similar thing with
OBS.
OBS, which is free software. Anyway, but yeah, it saddens me that so often what we see in today is people trying to fix an inward wound with external behaviors.
We actually started with OBS, Dave. That's big. We started with OBS, but anyway, go on.
Anyway, we had on. Who are we talking to? My goodness, just I forget who it was talking to, but we came up with, maybe it was, we didn't have a guest that day, but we were looking at the article about how the lesbian mothers, the two women.
What? You can't sign off. Bareface is talking, King Pipe. Come on, man. This is my husband.
Yeah.
Isn't he cute? Well, I shouldn't ask you that if you're gay. You might go, yeah, he's cute.
Yeah.
I've actually had some gay guys on here hit on my man. I'm like, really? Come here.
Anyway, where I was going with that.
I would defend my baby, just so you know. Anyway.
Is that, some people go to the extremes. I'm thinking of Walt Heyer and all the stuff that he's documented.
Tell them who Walt is if they don't know.
Walt is a man who lived as a woman for many years. He, because of familial and environmental circumstances, was convinced in his mind that he inhabited the wrong body, that he was, a woman trapped in a man's body, went as far as having sexual, reassignment surgery, and anyway, and ended up regretting that, as so many do. And I think he's got a few websites. Sex Change Regret, is that one? Sexchangeregret.com or?
Yep.
And that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head. Anyway, but he documents so many people who have had regret the surgery, thinking that by changing something on the outside, they could change the inside. Without an inward wound, an inward hurt, an inward problem, trying to change the outside to trying to heal that wound, and it doesn't work. We covered a bit of a story just this week, I think it was, about a woman in Finland who had reassignment surgery to male, and was really disappointed. She felt like a monster, and then and then had physician assisted suicide, if there is such a thing. Well, basically, was euthanized at her request because she felt like so terrible.
Right, Eva.
Family origin is a difficult work. It is, but it the payoff is great. If you can actually deal with the wound, the inner wound, you can actually find healing instead of trying to mask it with all sorts of other behaviors and even surgery and drugs and whatever, anything else. Whatever our wounding is, with God, all things are possible. You talk about the process. Look, I'm almost 49. By the way, you guys should give me gifts on my birthday. It's in October. Just saying.
Okay, anyway, but I'm almost 49. I've spent 15 years of my own personal therapy, okay? 15. That's a long time to be in therapy. I was in therapy most of my 20s and half of my 30s. All right? So I'm just saying that, and most of you who come in all the time, you already know I was sexually abused big time, a lot, huge, like almost every day for like 10 years, okay? So I understand trauma. I had mom that didn't want me. I was a child of divorce 3 times over. My dad didn't protect me, or even really have anything to do with me. I could cry all day about how horrible my life is. But here's the thing. Jesus came into my life and my heart. And I'm just going to say that with his love, the wisdom he gave me, and the ability to go and get the help that I needed, I became the person I am today. And, you know, some of the things that I went through, I still deal with it. It sucks. I'd never sit here and go, hey, you know what? I'm so perfect. Life is great. Blah, 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 blah. No way, you know? In fact, my new Bible course, this is a good segue for that. Not that I'm trying to sell it to you, but I kind of am, because it will help you. Narcissistic parents are, yeah, they definitely do. That's for sure. But, you know, here's the thing. Transformation is possible, and there are consequences to behavior. And sometimes, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, but sometimes other people's sin against us is stuff that we get stuck dealing with. And, you know, when you're a child and you've been violated, it is super hard to deal with it, especially when you've been re-victimized over and over and over again. But change is possible. Hey, Eric, change is possible through Jesus alone. You know, and here's the thing, Christ doesn't hurt people, right? You know, Jesus doesn't talk bad about you. He doesn't do anything horrible to you. He did nothing bad to you at all. In fact, he took on your sin. Thank you, Princess Diana, for saying my hair looks great. I'm glad you like it. It's not my favorite style. I didn't do anything to it, actually, but Bareface likes it, so hey, whatever. But here's the thing, you know, I chose to get help. I chose to spend a lot of money going to Christian so I could talk through my issues, bond in a healthy relationship, and learn how to become healthy, right? That takes work. And it took probably, I tried to figure it out once time, how much money that I've spent between therapy, being hospitalized, my education, etc. It's about $250 grand, right? So I'm selling a course for $29. You guys can get a 10% off. If I were you, I'd get it, because that was like $250,000 worth of material in my brain you can get for 29 bucks. Actually, closer to 25 when you use a discount coupon. I'm just saying, people, you know, I sit behind this microphone not because I think I'm so great, because I know me, but because there's hope. And if God can help me and lead me in the right direction, he can help anybody. Trust me. Because I know how crazy I can be in my head. But what drives me nuts is that I was lied to as a child. I was violated by people who were supposed to protect me, and I'll be damned if anybody makes me lie now. Just saying, right? Okay, I'm just saying, right, John? You know, and see, that's the thing you have to understand. As a Christian, you are called to walk in the truth and in the light. And you're called to expose the unfruitful deeds of darkness. And all the stuff we talk about on this show is exactly that, right? The whole dang world wants you to believe the emperor has no clothes. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And it's not. Hello, the dude is naked. He is naked. He needs to put some dang clothes on. Just say it, you know? Homosexuality is a sin. Yes, it is. You know? A man's, you know what, going into a butt. That's not normal. Just so you know, okay? The behavior ain't normal. It ain't normal for girls to do that stuff. It ain't normal for boys, all right? Just saying. And the sooner the church realizes that our allegiance has to be to Christ and his truth, the more effective we're going to be right now. You know, I mean, last night we talked about human and sex trafficking. Do you think that, you know, that's a problem? Yeah, it is. It's a huge problem, but nobody wants to talk about it. Because, and nobody wants to talk about Christian persecution either. I'll tell you that, you know, I mean, I wrote the Voice of the Martyrs blog 8 years. I remember when I posted the very first picture of the beheaded woman that I saw. That was not fun to look at. I hated it. But I struggled with, should I put this on the persecution blog? And I did. And you know what? I got kickback from Christians who looked at it. I can't believe you would offend me by putting this beheaded woman's picture on the blog. I'm like, build a bridge and get over it. This is what happens to real Christians, just so you know. You know, being a Christian ain't for wimps. Okay? It's not. The Bible says pick up your cross daily and follow him. The cross is an executioner's tool, people. You know, when you decided to follow Christ, you signed a death certificate in many, many ways. Okay? It's not, this isn't a fluffy religion. And yet the thing that's interesting to me is that it's marked by love, right? Jesus is our example, and he went to the cross. Right? And yet we're like, well, I don't want to do this. I can't live, with same-sex attraction because it's just not comfortable, or I can't live without that drink because I can't deal with it, blah, blah, etc. It's like, really? I don't know. I could rant and rave a lot, but I think Randall wants to say something.
Well, Angie had a question for a while, but
what was the question?
But we can get back to that. Earlier you mentioned Christopher Columbus being a Messianic Jew.
Yes.
And that reminded me of Ariel Ministries, which is a sponsor of the program, longtime partner of ours.
Keto Bill. Are you on the ketogenic diet?
Anyway,
sorry, Randall.
Ariel Ministries, located online at ariel.org, ariel.org, nonprofit ministry dedicated to evangelizing Jewish people as well as discipling Jewish and Gentile believers. They have wonderful resources, biblical resources, and one of the ways the mission organization is supported is by selling some of the resources they have. And you can save 20% on any of those, print, video, audio. Save 20% when you use the coupon code Bible News. That's exclusive to our listeners and viewers. Right now they've got a special going on, the D. L. Cooper Messianic series from Dr. David L. Cooper. These wonderful books written between the 1930s and 60s. A 7-part series bundle for just $32. You can use the coupon code Bible News and save an additional 20%. The books include the 7 books of the God of Israel, Messiah, His Nature and His Person, His Redemptive Career, His First Coming Scheduled, His Historical Appearance, His Glorious Appearance Imminent, and His Final Call to Israel. For those of you listening to the audio, you can go to bit.ly, bit.ly/Cooper_books, bit.ly/Cooper_books. It'll take you right to the that special offer page. So just wanted to make you aware of those things. And the question that Angie asked earlier was it difficult for you, Stacy, to trust in the Lord as a new believer, given your abusive past?
No. In fact, no, not at all. And the reason why is because he revealed to me, he protected me. He actually revealed to me what was going on. He told me it was wrong, and he helped me to get the courage to expose it. So no, I'm actually, I can't say weird, although that's kind of accurate, in some ways. In that I don't blame God for my abuse. I never have, actually. I've gotten mad at him for certain things, and frustrated with him. I get more frustrated with him because of God's people more than anything. But no, in that regard, no, I didn't. Because if it wasn't for God, because see, here's what happened with me, and then I want to get back to Keto Bill's comment. What happened with me was when the Lord showed me what was going on and gave me the courage to reveal this stuff. The first person I told was the pastor in the church, and they did nothing. They told me, go to the school. So the school did something, and then my mom forced me to recant it after my uncle was arrested. And I prayed to God, and I said, look, if you get me out of this mess, blah, 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 etc., blah, 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 I will follow you the rest of my life. And he did. And so, my allegiance was there, because I know that if I hadn't told, and if God didn't break through and give me the understanding that I needed as that 13-year-old, I would have been more severely abused, probably, than I could have probably handled. And that's the truth, I think. So, no, I owe Christ everything, because he saved me from a really, really horrible, horrible future. I think even worse than I went through all those years. But Keto Bill, by the way, I happen to know quite a bit about the ketogenic diet. I would say that that on this show we expose all sexual sin. We don't just expose the gay sin. We talk about all that stuff. It's like, the Bible says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, hey, you know what? We had a guy on here a couple of weeks ago talking about pornography and masturbation and all that fun stuff. I mean, I'm a therapist, by the way, by training. So we talk about a lot of honest topics, right? I mean, sin is sin. Yeah, exactly. I'm not a Christian. I'm not normal when it comes to being a Christian. I'm a real believer. I'm a real honest person, direct to the point. I'll admit when I screw something up, not enough people know that. Hello. But when it comes to an agenda that I'm really well versed in, I'm not going to back down when people get all emotional on me about it, because it's not about that. It's about the truth. Your testimony is very moving. Thank you for sharing. Aw. Well, you're welcome, Angie. Well, if you want to hear more of my testimony, get my new Bible course. That's what I was just starting to say. It's called Stop Lying to Yourself. Your Secrets Are Not Secret. And it's really a little case study about King David and how God confronted him in his sin and how he ultimately became real. Because in Psalm 51, verse 6, it says here, welcome back, Megan. It says, surely God desires truth in the inner parts. He wants you to know wisdom, right? Now think about that, okay? Think about it. If we can't be honest with ourselves, then it's very super hard to be honest with other people about stuff. And there are so many things in this thing that I put together. It's only 2 hours long. I actually had somebody tell me I should charge $300 for this course. Just so you know, I'm charging $29. And I hope you get it, because there's worksheets on every lesson and all that. You guys, it's pinned over at Bible News Radio on my Twitter account. Click through link, and there's a 10% off coupon too. Yeah, that's where you go. It's over on Twitter at Bible News Radio. It's my pinned tweet. There's a link. You click through, it gives you a discount. And just get it. And watch it. You can watch it at your own leisure. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, which you won't want, but it's there if you want it. Just saying, it's not fluff. It's actually not fluff either. So, are there any other questions? I think usually Friday we go like an hour and 15 minutes. So it looks like we got about, 10 minutes left or so?
About 7. We're just about an hour and 8 in.
Okay. Are there any other questions, comments?
Complaints? Concerns?
Haven't met many Christian therapists. Yeah, well, I am a Christian before I'm a therapist, but that is true. Yep. And, I mean, Randall, he can testify to God's transforming my life for sure.
Indeed, I can.
Yep.
And Stacy can testify to my transformation as well.
Yep. You know that Bareface used to have a problem just speaking?
I still do sometimes.
But I mean, it would be really hard. Spent many years in therapy, and until I went to a Christian counselor, nothing stuck. That's interesting.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, when you're walking in with somebody, it's very hard to find good Christian therapists, or any at all. Some are. Yeah, that's true, actually. Christian life coach here, I heard that I haven't met before. Yeah, well, it's difficult. How would reach someone opposed to God that came from an abusive background, gets angry with the gospel? Angie, that's a good question, and I think part of it is so many people. Well, the theories are that how you see God is how you saw your father. Okay, I mean that's the idea anyway. I don't necessarily buy that completely, because I think that there's a lot of people that see God and they don't transfer the Father onto that figure. So what I would do is I would say, it's interesting that you see God that way. I would say that we could look at some scriptures about who God is. I'm an MSW, but not a therapist, but did a lot of work that showed me the need for Christ. Good. Well, you have a master's of social work, huh? I have a master's in clinical psychology. I actually respect anybody that can get a master's in that field. Walterman 11 1. Or is it 111? Were you born on January 1st or January 11th? Were you born November 1st or January 11th? Next Gen Trader, hey, welcome to the broadcast. Yeah, okay. How does the connection go from head to heart that he loves us after being abused? Well, Eva, for me, I would say very slowly. I spent 15 years in therapy, and I will say this, I think a lot of it really has to do with how much risk you're willing to take, but it also has to do with how much truth you actually put in your heart. Because, see, I believe the more truth you put into your heart, your head, the more it will get into your heart. And see, I also think, and my friend Dr. Jennifer Fee, who, by the way, everybody, totally is featured again here on Periscope. Oh my gosh. Dr. Jennifer Fee, she cracks me up. Me and her are doing a Flippo the Hippo murder mystery on Snapchat. But anyway, what I was saying, Dr. Jennifer and I, like a half hour before the show, we were talking about the whole idea of attachment and healing. And it's interesting because if you look at if you look at how you're developed in your stages of development, if there's a disruption in attachment, which often happens even with homosexuality in particular, but like with me, I had a very non-loving mom. I mean, my mom wasn't a nurturer, let's just say. So for me, it's taken being in relationships with other women before I actually believed another woman would actually really love me. Okay. I mean, cause I never got that modeled real well for me. Because I had nothing but a abrasive porcupine as a mom. That's being nice, by the way. I love my mom, and there's that innate connection that we all have with our moms, but my mom's been dead almost 15 years. It'll be 15 years in November, but it's taken me a long time to be able to receive a woman's love where I believed that it's actual real love because of that head-heart connection. You got to see it modeled. I mean, there's a whole reason why we bond the way that we do with our parents. That is a design by God that the devil has totally messed with and screwed up a lot of people. And today what's happened is that kids, instead of bonding with people, are bonding with computers and technology, and we're going to have a whole lot of sociopaths in the future because of it. And God has given me that now. That's good. See? That's good. And so for me in therapy, that's where I got it. That's why I spent so many years with my therapist, Lisa, because I had that, as she always referred to it, she referred to it as a cocoon, right? Going into therapy was like being in that cocoon, and it was safe. It was safe for me to get mad at her. It was safe for me to be angry, and she didn't leave. She didn't get mad at me or hit me or anything. She didn't tell me she hated me or she wished I was never born or blah, blah, blah. None of that happened. So I was able through that process, God actually healed me of that. And, and I'm very thankful for that. So one of the biggest compliments I get, honestly, is how healthy I am. People, it's transformation. Yeah. Because I did the work though. See, that's the thing. Most people don't do the work. And that's what drives me nuts. Because they don't. They know it's too hard. It's so easy in order to change, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in that process, right? That's the thing. What about people connecting with people through technology? I still think that it's not a complete connection, Melanie. I think that there is more of a, you can bond and there's that emotional stuff, but there's still a huge disconnect there with this, right? I mean, I've met Vicky Fitch and I've met a number of different people as a result of Periscope and that I feel very emotionally connected to because I've met them, I've hugged them, I've touched them, but not everybody has that. I've seen the roots of bitterness and anger with my family that haven't forgotten their perpetrator. Well, the Bible never says to forgive and forget.
Just to forgive. It
says to forgive, and you're stupid if you forget because you don't trust. I mean, my theory is you can forgive, which is wise.
Yes. Don't
forget, and certainly don't trust. You know what I mean? I mean, that's dumb. That would be dumb, okay? Just saying. Obviously. So, did we talk about our pillars of the community?
No.
How many of you want to be a pillar of our community? People equate forgiveness with reconciliation. That is true, but that's also false. That's a false dichotomy. You can forgive with never reconciling with somebody. I forgave my uncle for all of what he did to me, but I never saw him after I turned him in. That was it. My mom was the best that caused me to have expectations that were too high on girlfriends. That happens.
Yeah, the scripture tells us to be at peace with all men as far as is possible with you. You know, if one will not, then two cannot.
Yep.
I mean, then, you know, if the perpetrator, you know, will not, isn't interested in any sort of reconciliation, then...
We are awesome, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're not really.
And under no obligation to make that happen.
Well, you are just as awesome. Hey, y'all. C. Bush. Nice to see you, my friend. Jason, welcome back. Yeah, so hey, here's the thing. If you want to become a pillar of our community, then we ask for the whopping donation of $25 a month to support the show. And just keep in mind when you donate, we'll put you in our private Facebook group where we do provide a lot of stuff. In fact, we have a monthly meetup on our Zoom. I put in a whole bunch of video that I do and sometimes behind the scenes interviews of people that we interview. We have a lot of let's just say this, all of our guests are A-list, but we have a lot of authors
well-known
speakers, famous people on the show all the time, and all that. And this is our job. This is our calling. You know, people say, well, why don't you get a real job? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is my job and it's real. Trust me. So if you're a part of our pillars already, I want to thank you. And in fact, if you want to put up a 1 so people can tell that we actually have a few of you in here, that would be cool. But if you want to become a pillar, then I would, you know, go over to our website where Randall Bareface just put up the link. What is it? BibleNewsRadio.com/give.
That's correct.
Yeah. And then you can donate there. And we really appreciate it. So there's Melanie. Renowned Christian authors. Yes, I have interviewed I've had Amy Grant on our show all the way up to Dr. Ben Carson and John Kasich, as well as gazillions of Christian apologists. I've been doing this for 12 years. It's only the last 2 years we've done this show on Periscope. So I'm pretty well connected. In fact, if you have a guest you'd like me to have on, you should tell me. I might be able to get them on if I haven't already had them on. So... because we have lots of fun people on the show. But honestly, my favorites are people here on Periscope. I love having our fellow Periscopers on because it's fun. How about you, Randall? Who do you like having on? Yeah, one of the pillars. That's right. Vicky's on a... I know, she drove by Mount Rushmore today. Did you see that on Snapchat? That was so cool. It was the first time I've ever seen, Mount Rushmore. Like...
Never been there?
I've never been there.
Well, we'll have to fix that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, it's you can drive there in a day from here.
You can?
Yeah.
I liked when Rick
full
was on.
day.
Yeah, we've had Rick on twice. I'm going to have him on again. Don't worry. Rick's coming back. Pastor Tommy's coming back. Pastor Pete's coming back. Laura Royer's coming on for her first time. I'm going through the Jesus Did It group in case you haven't figured that out. Thank you, Cher. Cherubi? Is that right? Cherubi. Or is it Cherubi? Is it She-Ruby? Cherubi. See, that's the bummer part. I don't know. But I can pretend, right? Yeah.
Well, we're about 1:20 in. I don't know.
Nope. Shelby. Okay. Okay, that sounds fascinating. Yes, we watch Rick every night for the last month from Jesus Did It. Yeah, see, Rick is so cool. I love Rick. I mean, I love everybody, but I love Rick. Rick is funny. He sends me some of the coolest polos. Yeah, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. I love real deal people because we're all real. Hello, people. You know, it's so stupid to not be real. Just so you know, it doesn't get you anywhere. It's like pointless, right? I don't always get your notifications. If it wasn't for Jason sharing, I would be missing out. Oh, Angie, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. It must be a Periscope thing. Oh, which is why, don't forget, my microphone just moved. You should sign up for my email list. Okay, go over to my email list and sign up at BibleNewsRadio.com. Because I always want to be together, connected with you forever and always. I keep forgetting you watch us all. LOL. Yeah. Yep. So, all right, you guys have any other questions or commentary? I'm willing to stay on until 8:30. I miss half the people every day. Not enough time. Yeah. Yes, he is the real deal. That's why we watch him. Yep. Yep. My problem is I can't stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch everybody. Get up early, start with Cynthia Bazin and all these other people, and sometimes Pam if I'm up that early, and then Pastor Greenbeard. By the way, Greg Harvey is coming on our show soon. We're gonna get him on our show. Pastor Greenbeard is coming on. That's gonna be fun, actually. Now, what's fun about Greg is that he works at Duck Dynasty or Duck Commander, whatever it is. And I've interviewed half that family on this show more than once. I've had Willie on, I've had Corey on, I've had Miss Kay on, I've had Sadie on a couple of times, I've had Missy on. I had an opportunity to have Alan on, but I didn't actually have him on. Have you ever heard of Pastor Charles Lawson? From Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm not sure. He should give you a shirt. Yeah. Yeah, he should, shouldn't he? You know what? Send me a link to that guy and I'll look it up. Is he the guy that gets in the face? He's like really out there when it comes to homosexuality. Interviewing him from Temple Baptist Church would be fascinating. Okay, yeah. If you have a link for him, send it to me and I'll check it out. If it's who I think it is, I think somebody else recommended him. I'll have to look. It's really interesting who I get connected to. I don't get it, but he's on YouTube. No, he's not the face guy. That's Jesse Morrill. That guy, I don't know. I don't know who that is. I know there's another guy. Did you see them? Yeah, on the bikes. Yeah, I did. I saw him racing. That was funny. Oh no, it was Snapchat. That's on the pink bike. Yeah. Okay. Podcast listeners, by the way, hey, here's the other thing you guys can do for me if you want. Okay, I really appreciate it if you did. Go over to iTunes, look for Bible News Radio in iTunes. Okay, there's 2 Bible News Radios in there. Find the one that has the black in the background on the logo. Take that one there, subscribe to it, and write a review. And make it a 5-star review if you don't mind. Okay, I mean, unless you hate us, then you can give us a 1. But still, if you do that, that would rock. We're over on Spreaker now, but we're in iTunes, so you can subscribe to us on Spreaker. In fact, if you would follow us on Spreaker, I need 100 people to do that, so then I can get into iHeartRadio.
Black in the background, like that, something like that, or
I can't see what you...
Oh, or is it
no?
Different than
Well,
that?
for some reason, the way Spreaker puts it in, there's there's black in the logo in the back. Oh, Joel Rosenberg. Yes, here's the thing. So what's all the social media you guys are on? I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, I am on, I don't really do anything on Pinterest. Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I update all those all the time. BibleNewsRadio.com is our main website, which I don't really update a whole lot. Joel Rosenberg will not come on internet radio, Megan. He's too big of a name. He doesn't do internet radio. That's what I was told when I tried to book him. But do you know who does internet radio is Jonathan Kahn. We're going to get him on our show. Pastor Charles Lawson is the gold standard. Yes. Yes. All right. Well, let's just say his handlers won't let him do internet radio. Blog Talk Radio wasn't big enough for him. So he wouldn't certainly do this. But, yeah. LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, thanks, Melanie. You know that. I'm on LinkedIn, too. Yes, I am. But, yeah, Pastor Rabbi Jonathan Kahn, we're going to go ahead and get him on the show, too. He's in the works. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer to get some people, but when you all started all on internet radio, Yeah, actually, we started our show on Blog Talk Radio. Well, initially we were on Libsyn, and we found out they promoted pedophiles on their network, so we stopped giving them money. Then we went to one place, which was Christian owned and operated, and then from there we went to Blog Talk Radio. We were there for 7 years. Yes, that's Jonathan Cahn's book. Actually, I am on MySpace. Yeah, celebrity pastors and teachers are an oxymoron. Very true.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But Jonathan Cahn, though, I was told, does every interview he gets asked to do. It might take time to get in the schedule because he's got a lot, but he does every one. So I'll get him on for sure. Which reminds me, I got to email the guy again.
Well, especially if he takes every interview, then his schedule's going to be pretty full.
Yeah. But his book, The Book of Mysteries, which we were doing in our book club, is so good, right?
Still is.
It is still good.
Hasn't been a full year yet.
Not quite, but yeah. All right, any other questions before we go? I know Bareface he wants to get off here. Yes,
Yeah.
Jonathan Cahn is amazing. Controversial, but amazing. I got a new mug, you guys see. What do you think? You like it? Isn't it a girl pretty mug? It has a butterfly on it. Did you see that right there? Right there.
Well, should I cue the music?
I got it at where did I get it? I got it at Walmart. I don't know what that means, Captain. It looks like some weird...
Well, it's a Cyrillic alphabet, but...
a pickleball jar. It actually is, Jeff. That's exactly why I bought it. It's 32 ounces, and like this morning I played pickleball, and I went through a whole bottle during that this morning, so... Tomorrow night or tomorrow morning I'll be going through another one. I'm sure of it. So... they didn't have any pink. Otherwise, I would have gotten a pink one. It's like you need glasses. You always squeezing, huh?
I think like squinting, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's just who I am. Actually, I do have glasses. They're for distance, but if I wear them, they're too close for my computer here. Actually, so God will make the final decisions on everything and everything small, large, known, and unknown. Oh, yeah, that's true. It's a good statement, Bill.
Well, should I cue the music?
All right. Well, Randall wants to leave. So we will leave now. All right.
Unless you want to make it even hour and 30 minutes.
Well, we could. Unless you guys want to stay longer. Let's see here. Let's see who we have next week. Oh. All right. So next week, you guys, we have some really interesting guests next week. We have Phil... Hotson Pillar coming on the show. You guys know who that is?
No. I don't.
You don't know who he is? Wait, hold on a minute.
No, ma'am.
For some reason, I didn't put what book he wrote, but hold on, I'll tell you. Just a second. Oh, that's right. He wrote the book called One Nation Without Law, The Rise of Lawlessness, the End Times, and the Power of Hope. Yep. So he's coming on Tuesday to the show. In fact, let me read you the bio here. It says here, it's difficult to hear the growing daily reports of evil in our society without a degree of fear. Seen from a human perspective, things appear hopeless, but as we consider the spiritual perspective of those same events, we can and will see what purpose those struggles serve in God's plan. In these pages, pastor and author Phil Hotson Pillar will help you begin to connect the dots between biblical prophecies about lawlessness with current events, etc. Blah blah blah. So that book is called One Nation Without Law. So that's going to be Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, Wednesday, we're having a guy named, I don't know if this guy's confirmed. I have a question mark after his name. I might have to look before I say anything. I think he's confirmed. I don't know. I've like booked 15 people. Yes. No, actually he is confirmed. Mark Youngblood is coming on the show. He wrote a book called Dear Human, Master Your Emotions. He is a lifelong student, teacher, and facilitator of the Inner Mastery And he seems slightly new agey, and I'm not sure if he is or not, but the book looked very interesting, so I'm risking it. We're going to go out on a limb with that guest. I'm not sure how that's going to end up. But Thursday, this is the coolest guest ever, in my opinion. We're having Dr. Timothy Jennings on the show. Those of you who are in the mental health field, you might actually really like that. He is a psychiatrist who wrote a book called, and I quote, "The God-Shaped Brain, How Changing Your View of God Transforms Your Life." You guys can go to YouTube and look up The God-Shaped Brain and watch the presentation. It's an hour long on that. You'll love this guy. He totally rocks. And he's a psychiatrist. He's coming on Thursday. We're going to talk about his book, The God-Shaped Brain. It's going to be so good. I'm telling you, I'm totally looking forward to Thursday more than any other day next week because I get to talk to this guy. He's written a number of other books too. He wrote a book called Could It Be This Simple? A Biblical Model for Healing the Mind. The God-Shaped Heart, How Correctly Understanding God's Love Transforms Us. And he also helped write the Remedy New Testament, which is a paraphrase Bible. So he's great. I'm telling you, he's great. And I'm just so excited about that. So it's not often, I think he's going to be my first psychiatrist I ever had on the show. Yeah, won't it be cool to have a psychiatrist on the show? You guys could ask about medication and blah, 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 etc., blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's going to be good. It's taken me a while to book this guy, too, by the way. I've been working on getting this interview for a couple months. So I hope that you tune in on Thursday for sure. Okay. That it? Are you guys all tapped out? Your hearts have stopped for the most part. Not literally, you know what I mean? Your actual heart didn't stop, thank God. But anyway. All right, you guys. So thank you for coming in, spending Friday night with us. Thank you guys for following us. The state of New Jersey has a drastic shortage in psychiatrists, so they use APNs. Oh, that's interesting. All right, you guys. Remember, be bold, stand up, and go with God, because He loves you. And we'll pray for that prayer request, Angie. I think it had something to do with HIV. I'll go back and look at the comments after the show. Okay, love you guys. Bye.